Hi everyone, my name is Sergey Gusev, welcome back to my channel. Today we will continue working on the portraits and I will show you how to make a master copy after a famous French painter William Bouguereau. So let's get started. The full version, which is more than 4 hours long, is available to download from my webpage. Check out the link in the description. I start out from a quick contour drawing, working with willow charcoal on Belgian linen. The size is 30 x 30 centimeters, which is approximately 12 x 12 inches. Again, I care mostly for the right composition and proportions. After it's done and fixated, I start working on the underpainting. With one color, burnt umber, I'm using Michael Harding oil paints. We care mostly for the values. We start out from the dark values and then go on to the lighter ones. It's also a very quick stage, and when it's dry we can start working on the colors on the face. This time I will be painting sequentially from one detail to another one. The initial idea was to make a series of tutorials devoted to the facial details, one tutorial for one facial detail, but then I thought that it would make sense to paint the entire portrait like this, but care mostly for the details, concentrate on the construction, on the colors, on the tonal values of each single detail. If it is very complicated for you, you can paint them separately on different surfaces. It does not have to be linen. You can take a piece of paper, for example, or a panel, and work on the eyes on one panel, on the nose on another one, and so on. Though I thought that it would be a great idea to kind of assemble this portrait at the end, make it look like the original one, painterly, with the big impression, big volume, big shape, and so on. So in the first part I'm working only on the eyes. I'm not copying millimeter after millimeter. I still begin to work from the dark shadows, then I move on to the dark halftones, and only after that I work on the lights. I'm completing one detail at once. I won't get back to it, so I'm trying to finish it as much as possible, make it very alike. And of course it has to look like the original one because it's a master copy. After I'm done with the eyes, I start working on the nose, applying the same concept. So I start from the darks, from the shadows, from the shadow in the nostril, then I paint the shadow, core shadow on the tip of the nose, on the bottom of the nose, on the lower plane, and then I start working on the bridge of the nose, on the tip of the nose, so on the lights. I'm using soft, small pointed synthetics. I'm caring for the tonal values and colors at the same time. And of course I have to keep in mind that every detail belongs to the big form of the head. So when working on the details, we still need to make them secondary. We always care first for the big form and the big impression of the character. So even working on the details, we still keep in mind that they're not as important as the portrait itself. After that, I start working on the lips, again from the darks, from the upper lip, which is darker. I carefully paint the edges very softly. If you make them really hard and rough, they will attract a lot of attention, a lot more than they should. It's only detail, and so we treat it as a detail. And this is the second video devoted to Bouguereau. It's going to be 3. 2 of them are now available to download from my webpage, and the last one is coming quite soon. After I'm done with the lips, I start working on the ear. Again, I apply the same idea and the same approach. Start working from the darks. You see that I also painted a little bit the hair around, just to correct the silhouette, the proportions of the ear. So of course I'm going to work more and longer on the hair in the future. Just now we need to correct the big form of the ear. It's so easy to do, just painting a little bit the hair around. So now we are done with the details and gonna work on the rest of the face, on the bigger surfaces, which is more simple than the facial details. We paint the cheeks, then the chin. We can use a bigger brush. These things are more simple just because they don't have that complicated construction as, for example, the eyes. These areas are more flat and so more simple to paint. We of course care for the values, and I want to remind you that master copy means not just likeness but also the right values and the right colors. We of course have to make them looking alike. The full video is more than 4 hours long, so I'm spending a lot of time talking about each single detail, and it's divided into 11 parts. Each part is devoted to one detail, so I think you won't be confused, because I know that some beginners get confused when professional artists start painting from the big spots, big relationships of light and shadow, and so on. This video I think is more simple for beginners, just because it's more structured, and in each part I'm talking only about one detail, and then I don't get back to them. Okay, I think that we are done with the face, and we're getting pretty close to the end, so we need to work on the neck, on the hair, and on the background. When working on the neck, remember that it's further away from the light source than, for example, the forehead, and so we are using less white and more darker tones. I move on to the hair, quickly blocking in, using quite a lot of medium in the beginning at least. And then I just carefully complete it, looking for some details, painting some single hair, softening the edges with the help of the background. And at the very end I will paint the clothing and the background, which is actually very simple. When painting the white clothes, remember that the shadows will contain a lot of white paint, otherwise it's gonna be extremely difficult to paint the white. So at the very end we quickly paint the background, and we can even pick up a simple frame and take a look at how it all turned out. I think it was a good tutorial. We worked quite well. I hope you'll paint alongside with me, and if you decide to do so, remember that I have attached the list of my art supplies and the original picture to the full video tutorial. Okay, let me know in the comments below what you think, if you like it or not. Subscribe to my channel, find me on Instagram and Facebook, and of course visit my webpage to download the full version, and also check it out. There are a lot of portrait tutorials you might find interesting and helpful. I wish you good luck with your own artworks, guys, and see you in my next episode on this channel.